our first story, outgoing moderator of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Reverend Emmanuel Mate, has hit back at accusations the church is supporting the opposition New Patriotic Party. The Presby moderator says the church does not and will not throw its support behind any political party in the country. So what did he specifically say? This was the Presby moderator addressing the NPP flag bearer Nene Akufo-Addo at the 18th General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church last Monday. Listen.
It's only in the corrupt society where the truth becomes controversial. But we are not perturbed if we are described as controversial. Nana, we know the work that you and the NPP has done. The evidence is clear. We also know from 2005 up to now, we also know what is happening. We'll keep on praying for you. And I assure you that for you calling Presby Church into partnership, we will partner you to build Ghana.
Those comments, he came under criticism by the governing NDC, which said the outgoing Presby moderator cannot claim to be speaking on behalf of the entire church. Here's Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Koku Anyedoho.
There's no crime in supporting a political party of your choice. But if without the consent of a very large group that you are leader of, you go and commit the whole group into the belly of an elephant, well, I'm sure you leave yourself open for all kinds of name calling and comments.
Well, so today, when the church decided to hold a news conference to state its position on national issues, the outgoing moderator explained that the church had been partnering political parties since time immemorial.
The Presbyterian Church of Ghana does not belong to any party. And the Presbyterian Church of Ghana does not support any party. The Presbyterian Church of Ghana is in existence before all political parties came. And I want to say this. We have seen governments over governments. All governments that come to rule our dear nation, we partner, Presbyterian Church of Ghana partner them. Let me say this, and please let this be heard loud and clear. At the moment, the Presbyterian Church of Ghana is partnering NDC government in the governance of our nation. So those who say that Reverend Mate is NPP, maybe they pay my NPP dues for me. That I'm in bed with Nanado, and every morning we eat. They come and then wash the plates for me. Listen, Reverend Mate is more complex than you can think. How can a full professor sell his conscience to one political party? Many penny banye fene di lulute. Now, if you don't know, if you who name Lulutia, Lulute Yobia Wajimia Bre. So Reverend Mate is not just like one of them.
Well, he also claimed some politicians had attempted to bribe him with as much as $100,000, among others.
They speak, they shake the foundation. And there it is only the church that will address meaningfully the canker going on. And they want to silence all credible voices. Now, today, we will reveal everything to you. This question has, direct relation with the pronouncements of Reverend Professor Mate. Let me tell you why people do not want Professor Mate to talk. Listen, they have tried, politicians have tried all means, I mean all means, to muzzle me, to get me, but they can't. They come with bribes, fat envelope, $100,000. Listen. I want everybody to listen. Politicians came to my house with fat envelope, $100,000, not cedis, dollars, and also with the promises that, if you keep quiet, we will give you a house at Trazaco with swimming pool. You know what? We will give you 4-wheel drive. You know, these people were lucky. I did not have big dogs.
So that's the outgoing moderator of the Presby Church of Ghana, Reverend Emmanuel Marty there. Well, this particular episode brings us to the issue of the role of churches in politics. Joining us on the line with some perspective is Dr. Edward Brenya. He's a political science lecturer at KNUST. Many thanks for your time, sir. Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Brenya.
Good afternoon.
Now, this is not the first time we've heard about, a controversy involving the church and politics or politicians. In times past, politicians have been, tagged as anti-government or pro-government, depending on their stance. But explain to us what the link between the church and politics is.
I'm sorry, your line was breaking. Can you repeat your line, please?
I'm asking you to explain to us what the relationship between the church or what role the church plays in politics, given the kind of things that we see. In times past, politicians have been tagged as either anti-government or pro-government, depending on where they're standing or their stance on social issues. So explain to us what the role of the church is in politics.
Good afternoon and good afternoon to your able listeners. I think that churches, as social institutions, play a very crucial role in the governance of society. Because these leaders are charismatic and they have to be those that sort of, to a large extent, maintain the trust and loyalty of many of their members. And because of the trust and loyalty that they hold, many a time when those leaders use the pulpit to sort of either support or not support one political party or leader, it has have influence. Because these are they are seen to be people that hold a certain level of trust and a certain level of command on their people. That is why it becomes very important, or political parties are worried if the politics is against them or if it's in support of one political party or the other.
So oftentimes, Dr. Brenya, church leaders use their pulpit to, if you like, campaign covertly for political leaders. Would you say this is right going forward?
Absolutely not. No, I don't think that churches like citizen institutions are supposed to stay political. The representatives of God world on earth. And God is leaders so that those leaders may guide society in the right direction. Therefore, they are supposed to be loyal to anybody, any government that has been elected. Because the presumption is that once president is elected, it is God who is indirectly through the process appointing someone to rule. And therefore, the churches should not. That is not to say that churches is the view that things are not going on in the right way, that they cannot criticize. They can do constructive criticism, but they are not supposed to criticize politically. And that's why it became a war when they criticize and
All right, many thanks. That's Dr. Brenya. He's a political science lecturer at the KNUST there. Let's hit the campaign trail now, shall we? We start off with the opposition MPP's flag bearer, who is continuing his campaign tour of the 3 northern regions. Today, Nene Akufo-Addo is heading to the northern regional town of Bunkrugu and surrounding areas. Martina Bugri of our affiliate radio station joins us on the line with an update. Martina, so tell us where the MPP flag bearer has been and what's he been saying?
The MPP flag bearer arrived in the region around 9 o'clock this morning. he was met by the regional executive after Wali Wali. Now, he was billed to arrive in Bunkurugu around 12 o'clock. But as at now, he just arrived at Bunkurugu. He made several stops on the way because people had gathered along the route and would not allow him pass until he addressed them. And so he stopped at Bindi, he stopped at Sakobu, and he also stopped at Napanduri, all addressing the party faithful. It's been raining, I must say, but several people have lined up the streets, have lined up the road, whilst others have converged at the rally grounds where he's supposed in his regional tour. And
Martina, we understand that his running mate, Dr. Baumia, is with him. Is that the case?
Exactly so. He's with him among other party bigwigs. I've spotted Alan Tremantin. I've spotted other party bigwigs who are with him on this.
Unfortunately, the line has dropped there, and that was our correspondent, Martina Bugri, there. Now, the Progressive People's Party is also not leaving any stone unturned in its bid to capture the votes of the electorate. The party took its campaign to the Obuasi East and Obuasi West constituencies in the Ashanti region, where it held 2 rallies to preach its policies, which they are confident will transform the country from economic dependence to independence. The PPP has promised to build gold refineries in Ghana in order to attract gold investors into the country, according to the PPP's policy advisor, Kofi Asamoah. This forms part of robust measures the party intends to implement in order to attract and retain foreign currencies in Ghana.
I say I don't have jobs for graduates.
Ghanaians have been telling the president, we need jobs. But the president's response was that, I do not have jobs for graduates. This was a very disappointing response. We've said many times how to create jobs for the youth, but all of these has fallen on deaf ears. God has given us gold as a country. It doesn't mean we have to sell it without refining it. It requires that we establish gold refineries in areas like Obuasi, where gold is mined, so that foreign businesses can also come to Ghana and trade in gold that has been refined. In 2012, the PPP promised that if we should be voted to form a government, we will build a gold refinery right here in Ghana. This, we believe, is the surest way through which we can maximize the full advantage of the natural resource that God has given us. What do we see in Ghana? Because people have personal interest, we rushed into signing deals that give away our gold and other deposits for which we have nothing to show for. Those of you who live here in Obuasi, how has the gold deposits affected your lives?
Parliamentary candidate for Obuasi is Frank Abuaje Danyansa accused the government and Obuasi Municipal Assembly for not creating enough job opportunities for the youth. He touted his achievement as a testament of what a PPP government stands for. He therefore encouraged the people of Obuasi East to support his candidature and Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum to deliver good policies that will definitely turn around the country.
At
my age, I'm an estate developer, and I'm employing people just as much as my flag bearer, Dr. Ndum, is. This shows that the PPP is the only party with the requisite policies and programs that can deliver jobs to the teeming youths who are on a daily basis looking for something to do to support themselves and their families.
You're still watching Election Brief with me, Araba Kumsa. Now, after 4 years of legally battling her parliamentary contender, it all came to an end for former legal advisor to President Kufuor, Vicky Bright. Today, an Accra High Court threw out her suit against Okanko's South contender, Ahmed Arthur. Joining us, Joseph Akable was in court. He's just returned and joins us in the studio. Joseph, give us a background to this story.
So it had to do with the party's primaries held as far back as 2012. Now, prior to that primaries, there were some concerns about the documents that Mr. Arthur had provided in his nomination form. Now, he subsequently contested and won the election. Now, after he had won the election, there was a petition that was filed at the constituency level that was forwarded to the National Executive Committee saying that he had provided wrong information in terms of the course he studied at the Ghana Institute of Journalism. He had written a wrong name for the course, so not the accurate program he studied over there. So he was subsequently disqualified. That was after he had won the election. So subsequently, after his disqualification, Mrs. Vicky Bright was of the view that he shouldn't have been allowed to contest the election. But Mr. Arthur went ahead to petition the National Council, and the National Council overturned the decision of the National Executive Committee, allowing him to contest the election, which he subsequently won and represented the constituency in Parliament. So that was for the 2012 one. So now in 2016, there was another primaries again at that same level where he won once again. But Mrs. Vicky Bright was of the view that he shouldn't have been allowed to contest again because of the disqualification the first time. So he subsequently filed a suit, praying that the court declares that he shouldn't have been allowed to contest in 2012 and 2016 as well.
And that suit was thrown out by the court today.
Exactly.
What reasons did the court offer for throwing out the suit?
The point Justice Mensah was making is that to effect that for someone to have been said to committed fraud, that person must have a deliberate desire to provide false information to deceive someone such that it creates undue advantage for whoever the person is competing with. So the judge says that he expected the plaintiff to prove that indeed by providing that false information, it created undue advantage for Mr. Arthur that didn't help Mrs. Vicky Bright in that particular contest. But in this case, there was no such undue advantage.
All right. And I imagine Mr. Arthur must be elated with the outcome of the case. What has he been saying?
He says he feels vindicated by this ruling coming from the court because it has been more than 3 years in the court battle.
All right.
Adopted by the Electoral Commission in the recent exercise.
Thanks be to God. God is so great, and this affirms my belief in God the more. It hasn't been easy to be labeled a criminal, a thief, a school dropout by, people you are supposed to work with in the same party. And this has gone on for so many years. Every opportunity she got on radio, on television, she would call me a criminal. I remember one day my second born walked to me to ask me, "Daddy, are you a criminal? Why is this woman always attacking you and saying you are a criminal?" I was so sad that day. It's only the courts that can, adjudicate on such matters and bring finality to it. She brought the case to court, and God represented us through our lawyers, and we have won the case. The judge has ruled, and it is evidently clear that I never made any false declaration. My certificate is never fake. And so this day, as I stand here, I stand vindicated. I am saying to the whole world that which Victoria Bright said about me, that I am a thief, I am a criminal, I am a school dropout, my certificate is a forged one. She couldn't prove any of it in court.
Now, what's your message to Mrs. Bright? In court, the judge said it's a family matter, and also counsel for MPP is saying that he hopes you put all behind you and you call on her to work towards ensuring that your flag bearer eventually wins the election. What's your message to her? Have you given a message to the constituents?
I have given that message clearly already. I have told you that I'm inviting everybody on board to come and support Nanado's campaign. So far as you're an MPP member, it is your responsibility to support NPP.
So you expect her to join your campaign?
I expect her to be on board to support this campaign. That is what
So that's the MPP's parliamentary candidate for Okaikwe South, Ahmed Arthur there. Now, the Member of Parliament for Efutu says the decision by the Electoral Commission to centralize the just-ended limited registration exercise prevented several people from being captured in the voters' register. According to the EC, the decision violated Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution and provisions in the Constitutional Instrument 91. The EC concluded the exercise over the weekend and indicated its intention not to reopen the exercise despite calls. Alexander Fenyo-Markins tells Joy News the EC's administrative decision to centralize the program defeats the accessibility provision in the law. He warns that there could be a legal challenge if the Commission does not heed the calls.
Registration adopted by the Electoral Commission in the recent exercise amounted to an indirect way of disenfranchising Ghanaians from participating in 2016 election. Why? I say so because the very law that regulates the registration exercise was breached. If you look at Regulation 2 of CI 91, it provides clearly that the EC shall designate registration centers for the purpose of registering voters and may designate any place it considers appropriate as a registration center. If you read further, it says, Regulation 2.2, the Electoral Commission, in designating a place as a registration center, the Commission shall take into consideration A, the suitability of the place for use as a polling station on election day, and, emphasis mine, and the B, the accessibility of the place to prospective applicant for registration. My contention is that to create a center at your district office where all constituents are supposed to come and register, or even to allow for 3 constituencies to use 1 district office as the sole center, is not known in the law. It is not founded in any electoral law. And the Electoral Commission indirectly is saying that, well, if you don't have money to transport yourself or to move to where they have designated as a center, you cannot register. That is not the spirit of the law. I contend, rather forcefully, that the fact that under B, the Electoral Commission itself envisaged a situation where prospective applicant must have access, and therefore found the need to place same in law, that accessibility of the place to prospective applicant for registration, they themselves have stated that to be key. Then in all conduct, whether limited, whether mop-up, they should ask whether they are allowing people sufficient access. My view is that any variation must consider accessibility. Any variation must look at the existing law. Perhaps you can vary by adding. It doesn't mean that you can set it aside and administratively say that, well, you are going to use your own office. All I'm saying is that indirectly, the Electoral Commission has found a way through this administrative decision, which is not founded in law, to deny prospective applicants who may be in their villages, who may be in their electorates, and for some 1 or 2 reasons could not travel to certain designated centers, their right to participate in 2016 elections, and they should consider it. I have just written to them. I don't want to hatch my eggs rather quickly. Let us wait and see whether they will respond to it. But I think strongly that it would rather be absurd to interpret the law to mean that the EC on its own can do as it has just done. The law is very clear, and they must go strictly by what the law says.
So that's MP for Efutu, Alexander Fenyo-Markins there. This is your election headquarters, and in 98 days, a little less than 50 million people will be getting ready to decide who leads the country for the next 4 years. As the days go by, while the time ticks, your decision on who best to lead the country is made a lot easier through our comprehensive coverage of the activities of the various political parties in the country. Stay with your election headquarters as we bring you the best coverage of events from now till the winner of the polls is announced and sworn into office. Join us on television, radio, online and via mobile as we deliver to you the most current and up-to-minute election-related stories. Be a part of our political discourse with the hashtag ElectionHQ across all social media platforms. Remember, the hashtag is ElectionHQ. And that's how we wrap up Election Brief today. My name is Araba Kumsin. Join us same time tomorrow. The Pulse with Francis Abban comes up next.